What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video in the series. Um, it's been a while, a couple days since I made the last video. What we did in the last one was go over why we're doing this. Optional but super important component, I think. It's kind of late right now, so I'm not gonna probably go too long or do too much today. But I do kind of want to at least lay out the next phase of the project of what we're going to be doing. So we'll see how far it goes. Probably not going to do any kind of digging, which is going to be one of the next steps here, but um, going to kind of explain what we're going to do next. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to do when it comes to figuring out like your financial situation is we're going to figure out cash flow. All right, and it's one of the most basic building blocks of your entire financial situation. If cash flow is not working, if you don't have cash flow, you don't have pretty much anything else. So it's like you cannot understate how important cash flow is. So in order to just illustrate this, it's simple to illustrate, but I'm just gonna draw a little guy here. Um, give him some eyes, give him black shape outline and black that. Give him another one, looks kind of creepy. But that's the guy that we're dealing with. So there's this person, okay? And I guess this person is us. Oh man, he got a fat head. I want that. I want something like, whatever. Okay, so here's this person, kind of tall. We can give him that. All right, so here's this person, right? And this is representing us, representing me. But there's a couple things that's going on with this guy and any person. Is that they have a certain amount of money coming in. And they have a certain amount of money coming out via expenses and whatnot. And I don't really care who this is or who is not. You're always going to have this situation. You're always going to have money coming in. You're always going to have money coming out. This is like an unavoidable fact. And even if you don't know how much money you have coming out or how much money, I mean, most people do know how much money they have coming in. Most people don't know how much money they have coming out. Even if you don't know and if you don't track these things, it's still happening. This thing, this process of money coming in and money going out is always happening. It's just not something that you can avoid. So the money comes in typically from income, and I'm going to use a different one for expenses. Money goes out into expenses, right? So that's pretty much what we're looking at, and really there's two things that, I mean, really only one thing, but what the one thing that we're gonna need to have happen is to make this equation true. If this is false, we got a problem on our hands. We got a leaky boat. Our ship is sinking, and we're not gonna be afloat for very long if this is the case. If this is true, we're going to have very major problems. We're going to have to do something about it. So we're going to find out. I know the answer, of course, but since we're doing this from scratch, I'm going to say that I don't know, and we're going to find this out. All right, and what this translates to, really, right, is, you make more than you spend. Spend less than you make, right? Number one rule that pretty much everybody in finance, personal finance, doesn't matter who it is going to tell you this. Income has to be greater than expenses. All right, so that's what we're gonna go for here, and Now, this is easy theory, right? But how do you actually get there? How do you make this? How do you figure this out? Like, I want to figure out what money in is, and I need to figure out what money out is. So in a way, you can think about it as we're gonna want to create like a little filter here. And let's give it this kind of an outline. Give it a dashes because this is a filter. Okay, we're gonna put a filter on the money in, and then we're also gonna put a filter on the money coming out, and we're gonna install some sort of well, later we're gonna do that, but we need to have some sort of method of tracking or catching the money as it flows through. And I was into physics um, when I was in high school and college. I really liked physics, and the concept here is that this is a when you're talking, I forget the technical term for it, but when you're talking about flux, you draw like an area, and then there's a way to compute the movement of thing through that area, right? So here we have money is going to be flowing in a certain direction. If we put a filter, if we put an area here, then we can catch, or sort of like, we're not catching the money, we're just observing it move through. Like, and we can put the filter anywhere. I mean, we can put this filter up here, but since there's no money that's going to be moving through there, then it's kind of like, okay, the money flow through this filter is 0. So we're going to put the filter right there. And for money in, and then for expenses, we're gonna put the filter somewhere there. Okay. And really, I should have made this actually a box. So let me just make this a box, right? Because at the end of the day, what we're gonna want to figure out is this, okay? So this is where our filter is going to be, right, on both sides, and there's nothing going on the bottom of the top. But if money in is greater than money out, then we're going to have buildup of excess inside of the system. Okay, and that's what we want. Okay, this is what we want to have happen. I'm going to put money plus plus. Okay, and that's what we want to have happen, because otherwise we have a negative, we have a leaky ship, and we got to plug the leak. But if we have money in is greater than money out, I'm saying this over and over again because it's just super important concept, then that's where we're going to end up. So how do we actually do this? Okay, all right, so let's think about it a little bit. It's just I'm going to take my income and expenses from over here, put them there. Let's do this kind of some sort of transformation. So typically the income that we have, we're going to have income from our jobs, of course. Job. All right. I know, I mean, I notice that I get like interest from my bank account. It's not very much, of course, but in the interest of like being complete, putting it there. And then there's some things that I like. Sell stuff. I've been selling some stuff on Craigslist, OfferUp, and eBay, so just including that as well. And anytime I sell something, that money is going to go into a account, right? It's going to go into like for me, it's going into my checking account. So right now I'm just drawing out like kind of the way that money flows through my personal financial system, if you will. So the money comes in from my job, money from interest goes into the checking account, and when I sell stuff, it kind of goes in. It actually typically goes to my PayPal account. So let's just add that PayPal account in there. But then of course, sometimes the money from, PayPal is connected to my checking account, so the money can go in there. But otherwise, I could use my PayPal account to like buy things and pay for things using my PayPal account, right? So that happens. That's the thing that happens. Then you might also have like a savings account. Yeah, well, I don't have a savings account, but I'm just putting it there, in case you might have it. And between the savings account and the checking account, it should be a one-way street, but sometimes it ends up being a two-way street, so it looks like that, kind of. That's a different arrow than those ones, but whatever. And then I also, I have Venmo. Venmo, I've got money in there, and, money will go from my checking account to Venmo. That's also a two-way street, so let's use this one. If I don't have money in my Venmo account and pay somebody else, then it goes over there. And back and forth, I send money in there, and then I also use Venmo to pay for like expenses and that kind of thing. Okay. And then what else? So what other ways does money flow from here? Well, I have things like credit cards. And my credit cards I use them to make purchases, of course, right? So I make them a different color than the freaking checking account. So I use my credit cards to pay the expenses, groceries, whatever, shopping, lunch, that kind of thing. And then the money comes from my credit cards or from my checking account to pay the credit cards. All right, so it looks something like that. What else? I've lately been using like a debit card. But the debit card is kind of, oops. Oh, no, I don't want that to be all tied up together. The debit card is kind of like, I'm spending directly from the checking account in that case, so just kind of like look like that. We'll just draw it in that shape. And then I also been using cash, so it's a good way to represent cash here. Let's just look for cash. Cash vector. I'm too lazy to draw out cash, so let's look for like a cash vector image. No, not that one. Is this one? It's good. Yeah, let's use this one. Fuck it. Oh no, I want a PNG. I'll have to deal with backgrounds. Maybe I'll cut this out. This is kind of boring for you guys, I'm sure. Does this have a background? That does. Does this have a background? Oh, alright, perfect. Here we go. Okay. I got cash. I got some cash in my pocket, but typically if I am going to withdraw cash from the vending machine, or vending machine, but ATM, then I'll get the cash and then I'll use the cash to pay my expenses that way. So this is kind of like all the ways that money is going to flow through my system. Right, comes in through here, it gets put in my accounts, and these are also included in there, but this is all the stuff that I have in my hand or in my person, and then it goes out, expenses and kind of goes out that way. So if we wanted to draw those two, what is money in and money out? Money in would be everything here, and money out would be everything here. So we're gonna draw the let's see, let's draw that. Let's just take the square. Let's make it easy. Copy and paste is amazing. So we're gonna kind of encompass this, right? So all of this here is going to be our money in, like on this side, and then all of this here is going to be our money out. Okay, pretty straightforward. So the thing that I got to do next is a little bit of paperwork and taking inventory of what we got. Um, so I'm gonna want to make a list of all my accounts that I have, and then right, because if I make a list of those accounts, the transactions are gonna tell this side of the story. They're gonna tell me what's coming in here, and then also want to make a list of all the money that I have, right? All the credit cards that I have, and the debit card is going to be from the checking account. But basically, make a list of all the accounts that I have, and that's going to tell me this side of the story. All the transactions are going to give me money out. All right, so that's going to be my next thing I'm going to do. Um, it's going to be kind of like a housekeeping video. Just going to be making lists and that kind of thing. But then there's also a good question that just came to mind. Like, what if I don't know? What if I don't know what credit cards I have? And cause, I mean, I have a big list of them all. I kept track of every single one that I've opened, but I'm sure that there are some of you who don't know what credit cards you have. So we'll go over a method of getting that information if you don't have it all organized. Um, if you're not very German about it like I am, then we'll have a method to do it. Finding accounts is a little bit more trickier, I guess, but because those you just gotta know that you have them. But we'll go over some of that method. But the good thing about not having, not knowing about accounts, or not the good thing, but the okay thing about not knowing about all the accounts right away is that if you don't know about the account, it's likely that you're not spending any money from it. Like if you have a checking account or a savings account and you don't know about it, you forgot about it, it's in the paperwork somewhere, you're not going to be spending money from it because you don't know about it. So how can you? But there could be like fees and account maintenance or whatever kind of stuff that's going on in those. But um, you can only be as complete as you are organized. So that's what we're going to be doing next. This was short and sweet. Actually, it was a pretty long video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll pick this up next time. I'll see you later. Good night.